Hello, I'm here with the principal, Mr. Murphy, and I'm going to ask him a few questions about drugs. How you doing, Mr. Murphy?
Pretty good, Gavir. How are you?
Good, thanks. What are the consequences for having drugs on school property?
Okay, now what you have is there are the legal consequences and the school consequences. In other words, anyone who would be, for example, if you were selling drugs on a school property, it's a felony. And therefore, there would be things. Anyone buying, purchasing, or whatever, we would move towards expulsion.
Okay. Now, what are the school's consequences for getting caught off-campus drugs?
Well, that's a whole little different set of circumstances. I think what we would do then, I think you all know that my feeling is that students shouldn't be involved with drugs at all. Mm-hmm. I think what we would do in a situation like that would be, again, if somebody was selling, my assumption would be that they would be no longer a student here at Immaculate. I think what we would do beyond that, we do have what we call the disciplinary review committee, mm-hmm. and we would look at each one of those on an individual basis. I'm sure there would be some suspensions involved.
Okay. And how do you prevent drugs from being on campus?
Well, I'm hoping, hopefully common sense is going to prevail. And unfortunately, I think the situation that we had earlier in the year, where as most of the students know that there's some youngsters caught selling, that if you were there, and I think many of the student body were there to see these kids taken away in cuffs, I think that hopefully maybe that fear will be prevention. But I also hope that maybe knowing the consequences, and if they like it here at Immaculate, they're certainly not going to do anything like that in school, or on school property for that matter.
And how do you help influence students to stay away from drugs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wish if there was a magic answer, I think everybody would use it, and there isn't one. I'm hopefully the education, I know like you guys are in this health course, and I think the education, the kids know what the drawbacks are and the long-term implications, because I think sometimes, you remember, all that are working here were high school students at one time. Matter of fact, I was a senior here at Immaculate many years ago, and I think what we need to know is if we're aware of the impact that it's going to have on us physically, if we also realize the legal impact that it could have, and if somebody does something where they make a foolish mistake, it could be with them for many, many years to come.
Okay. And if illegal drugs are found on campus, do you notify the authorities?
I would say yes. In other words, we'd have a situation, if we caught somebody with marijuana or whatever, then we would notify the police. I think it's our legal and moral obligation to do that. And obviously parents would be notified as well.
Okay. And that's it. And thank you, Mr. Murphy.
That's a wrap.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.